Hey guys, and welcome back to Schneid's 15. Today we're going to be working on the 97 Suzuki King Quad 300. We're going to be doing a much asked for brake pad or brake shoe change in the front of the King Quad. I actually don't have wheel cylinders for this, but we're going to be getting some. I'm going to show you guys part number so you can get them for about $10 rather than the Suzuki $100 wheel cylinders. You can get them at any of your auto parts stores. They're made by Dorman, and they're meant for an early 90s Suzuki car. I think they're the Suzuki Swifts and the Geo Metro and whatever the GM brand was that they were relabeled as. I forget what they're called. Not the Tracker was the SUV, but they were those little 3-cylinder cars in the early 90s, if you're old enough to remember that. But they had the exact same wheel cylinders as these ATVs on them, so you can get them for like $10. Anyways, thought I'd show you. Exciting for me. I've been working out here. Got this tarp shed right there all put up, and all summer this windmill has not turned, and now it is turning. Now that the trees are starting to go away, so I'm pretty stoked about that. Anyways, we'll get back to the King Quad. I'm just pretty excited about that. So first off, grab a jack. We're a little tight in here right now. As you see, it looks a little different than last year. We stocked up on pellets for the winter. But grab your jack, lift up the front end, 14 millimeter, and wing off that rim and tire. Alright guys, so once you have those lug nuts off, wing your tire to the side. There should be a cotter key in here. Somebody's obviously had this off in the past and there's not. But take off your axle nut, or the cotter key and then the axle nut. It's about a 1 1/8, I'd say. I actually just had to use a pair of adjustables here because all my tools are at work and that's the battle as it goes. So it comes this way. This washer, the lip, goes to the inside because your axle cap goes over top of there. So take that off, then you're gonna have another washer, and then your brake drum. So once you have that off, then you can start to work your brake drum off. Just start grabbing it and pulling. If you want, you can give it some taps around there just to free it all up. So we'll free it all up and then we'll get to working this thing off. Alright guys, so just take a flathead and go around the edge here. There's a little rib. I just keep going in circles here. There is a seal to keep your brakes sealed, so just watch that. That runs around the inside, but you'll only be getting to that once it's out a bit. So once you get to that point, you can start going in here. They can either slide off, or they're just gonna be a prick to get off. But just keep. So as you can see, I got it off. I just kept working around until I got to this sealed part, and then I just started working the inside of the hub. Then I started giving it taps once I could get my fingers in there, and she just fell right off. So the drum isn't too scored up at all. I'm gonna reuse this. We're just gonna put shoes on, which is usually all they need. So this one right here, I'll bring the camera closer, but this one here is all right, and this one here, we don't even have any pad left on it, so that's probably why it doesn't work too well. So we're gonna take some brake cleaner and spray it in here and clean it up first, because these things are full of mud, so I can show you guys easier what to do. Alright guys, so before I started cleaning this, the actual other brake pad fell off, but I noticed that the wheel cylinder is actually seized out, so I'm going to need a new one of those, and I'm not going to put it together without that, so I'm going to order them. So I'm going to give you guys that part number now. I just uploaded it on my phone. I got it on the Dorman page, so it indeed says that it's for Geo Metro in 1996, an 89 and 96, and a Suzuki Swift from 89 to 96. So Suzuki will charge you over $100 for one of these wheel cylinders. If you get these through Dorman, they're going to be like, if you're in the States, maybe $8. In Canada, like maybe up to $16 or something. I think I paid like $12 or $10 or something a piece for them. But here is your part number right here. That is it right there. And that's the one that you need, and it's the 37850. So just phone a Napa or whatever and you'll get them for really cheap. Get two of them. The only thing that's different is that bleeder screw there is automotive size instead of Suzuki ATV size, so it's a little bigger. Everything else is perfectly fine. So just a cool little trick there to save you some money. So first off, I like to use just a set of exhaust spring, just a puller here. Get behind your spring here and give it a yank out. There we go. Once that one's out, it'll pull up. Got caught again. There we go, pull that out over there, and that's your top one there. It's a bit bent and weak, but I think it'll work again. Set that to the side. Then next, we're gonna go to the bottom here, and we're gonna do the exact same thing. Pull that one out. There we go. As you can see, the bottom one is a different spring. And then we're gonna get to our hold downs. Our hold downs are right here, so if you have a set of the pliers, you can use them. What I do is just grab on. You can get on there, push here, rotate that. That'll go through there. You take that clip off, set that to the side, go to your front, the bottom here. There you go, same thing. Then your pads will be free there, besides your quick adjust adapter, but you can pull them out here. That one slid off. And this one, I just wanted to bring it closer to the camera, will have a spring on it that goes over here for your adjuster. You can go ahead and just take that off too. You can do it prior so you don't have to pull it out like that, but you'll be left with this. So now you got it, as long as your hold down rods here are fine. Just check them, make sure they're not too worn on the ends, which they shouldn't be. Not too rusty is the main thing. But we're going to get in there now and spray this all with brake cleaner and get it cleaned up. Alright, so before you throw your one brake shoe away, that one's fine to throw away, but your front one has a lever on it right here. There's a circlip up top here. so you can get that circlip off there. I think I'm gonna have to get a flat head behind there and hit on it because it's really rusted in there. I think this thing had a lot of hard miles on it, so it can get hit in there, and pop that out, and you can go ahead and this whole lever will get put onto your new brake pad. So anyways, for tonight we're gonna end the video. I'm gonna get some of those 37850 wheel cylinders on order, and I will see you guys probably tomorrow night. I'll continue on with the video, and we'll get this brake job finished. Alright guys, so it's the next day here now. I ended up getting my parts in. Gotta love Napa. I phoned in at 7:30 this morning, and on my way home from work I go through there and they're already there. They got a great business running. So anyways, here it is, the 37850. Yeah, if you look at it compared to this, it's the exact same thing. Except, like I said, it's got the automotive bleeder screw on it. The one on the King Quad is a 10 mil. This is a 10 mil also. It's just bigger. So that's the only difference I can find. But otherwise, they're identical. And I ended up getting these for about $16 a piece. So anyways, what we're gonna do is first off, we're gonna take our wrench here and grab a quarter wrench or a socket or a wrench and go behind your wheel cylinder here. First off though, take your 10mm wrench, go on your brake line, and just get on there behind, and there we go. Just crack that loose because it's a lot easier to do while it's bolted on. And then you take your wrench here and go on, there's two 10mm bolts here to take off. I'll show you right now. Alright, so coming around the back here, you come right into there, and right there is where you crack your brake line loose through your 10 mil. Then here you got a 10 mil there. You can break that free and get your other one there too. Alright, so with those removed, you can go ahead and pull your brake line off. Just make sure you got lots of fluid in your reservoir up here, which I already took off. It's just two Phillips head screws. One broke off, so I got to figure that out. But pull that off. I'm gonna actually just let it drip onto this cardboard that I have down because I want to flush a bit through. You want dot for brake fluid for it, so do that. There we go. It's gonna drain out of there a bit. There's the old one, and here's the new one. As you can see, they're identical. I know this looks longer, but it's just because it's seized out. But yeah, otherwise identical things. As you can see, the bleeder screws, like I mentioned, they're bigger, but there's no issues with them. So take this, throw it on there, and put your 10mm bolts back in there, and we'll get to putting the brake shoes back together. Alright, so with mine off here, I just took some clean brake fluid and put it in there. It looks a lot clearer now. And then what I do is I'm just watching down here as I'm squeezing it. I just keep squeezing it here. And again, you can put a bucket underneath, but I'm throwing this cardboard out anyways, so there we go. I've been squeezing it probably about 15 times now, and it's finally starting to come out clear. So when we do the other side, we'll do the same thing, but there we go. We're nice, clear, fresh fluid now. Just make sure that that doesn't drop below, so I'm going to top that up. And then I'm going to take my cap out of here, which I already did, thread it on there, and then tighten this on. Alright, so once you got that on there, I just slid my 10 mil over there. You can pull off the cap off of here and expose your bleeder screw. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a crack right there, and I mean, we're going to bleed them once we get our shoes in, but I'm just going to give it a little squeeze just to get that cylinder full of oil. As you can see, this is pushing out, which we don't want. But there we go. Now we just got some fluid through, so I'm going to crack that off and we'll bleed them once we get our shoes on. Alright guys, so now take your new shoe, take that lever there. This is for your self-adjusting, your lever here. Put it through that top hole, and then take your circlip and drive it on there, whatever method you want, and then we can get to installing these things. Alright, so with our lever installed in our pad here, we're just gonna, that can go in here over your hold down, but first off we're gonna take the other side. You gotta put your adjuster in through here, but take your adjuster here. This is just it's like a ratchet in there, and it'll slide like right there. That's getting tighter, and that's where your spring tension holds, and it'll keep your pads out as they wear, so it doesn't suck back every time, so you got good brakes all the time. So move that. You're gonna want that all the way in there. Just leave it just like that, maybe just one notch, you'll feel it. So there we go, that just grabbed right there. So we'll put our first pad on here. You can just slide this in behind your hub for now. Catch that on the other side. Take your bottom here and it'll touch, and there's a pad down here, right there. Wedge that in there. Then take your hold down spring from the back, and you want to get that through the hole here in the middle, which can be a little tricky. Trying to show it to you guys on camera, but get that through there. So next, slide your hold down lever here. You can push on that with your pair of pliers, squeeze. You got to get it twisted around. Alright, so they can be a bit of a battle, but just push on it there and try and get it spun. There we go. Not too bad. They're in place now. So that might want to pop out of there. Your hold down, there we go. Get that into place. Once that's in, you can take get your lever straight here, and then get your other brake shoe in here. Get that lever over this way, past your hold down here, or past your hold down pin, or whatever you want to call that. Get that there. Once it's in place there, take your other hold down clip here, and you can go ahead and throw that on there. There we go. And then once you're done that, we can get to putting our adjuster clip up here. I'll show you now. Alright, so when you get up close here, just get your shoe slid up, make sure it's in the groove in the end there. You might want to leave your bleeder cracked a little bit so you can push in your wheel cylinder, but just make sure you get up to there. Your lever has a little notch in it. It's really hard to show here, guys, but I'll try and get my best shot on it. So it's right in there. There's a little notch right there. So you just want to get that in there, and then take your spring here, you drop it down the top here, or actually, sorry, never mind. You come in from the bottom, and then you go into that hole right there. Get it hooked in there. There we go. Slide your brakes up there again. Make sure you're locked into the notch here, which we are. There we go. Alright, so we're going to start out with our bottom spring here next. Make sure you're in the grooves down here. And I'll move the hub here to show you. Clip in over here. Rotate. Rotate again. I'm just going to use pliers this time. Oh, there we go. Bottom springs in. Make sure it's in there. Alright, so next repeat with your top one. Just rotate your hub there. You don't have to, I'm just doing that to show you. But get that spring in the hole over here. Right there. And then you gotta get it in this one, this far one right here. I'm just gonna use I'm gonna try and use my needle nose on these ones just so it doesn't bend the spring again. Go into place. Sorry, I meant to say that this right here, you want it pushed all the way back because that's your lowest setting right there. You want to push that in there because if it's pushed all the way, that was pushed all the way out, and then you can't get your brake drum on. So now, once that's in, we can get our brake drum on. Alright guys, so once that's on there, I use the hammer here to tap it on. It's not like a regular automotive drum because you got that seal on it, so no matter what, that seal's got to get in there and get against. So once you have that done, just take your 10 mil, and everybody has a different procedure for bleeding, but just make sure that your reservoir's full up here, and I prefer to give this a few pumps to your handle and then give it a hard squeeze, and then you can put a tube on the end of your bleeder screw, but just crack it loose, keep pumping it up and cracking it loose, and until you don't see any more air bubbles coming out, and you're done. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I ended up taking off my axle nut. I don't know why I did it. I hope you seen the note at the starting of the video that I put on there to not take off the axle nut. But anyways, wheels back on, and that's all tightened up. And our brakes, I've only got one side done already. But man, that's awesome. So repeat that on your other side and you'll be done. I could do a video on the other side, but it's identical, just opposite side. And there's no point in wasting time on a video, so you just repeat this step for both sides and you'll have a wicked stopping bike. What I do suggest, what I've done with my other one, since I prefer the hydraulic brakes over your cable operated rears, if you have a heavy load on and you're concerned about stopping, just make sure you're in four-wheel drive, and then you'll get four-wheel braking because your whole drivetrain's locked together. But if you're concerned about rear brake job, which I'm usually not, but since I've had so many requests, I did buy a set of rear brake shoes, and they'll be put on the back of this ATV next. So stay tuned, and we'll get to doing the cable operated brakes after this, and we'll try and upload a little bit more regularly at this time of year. I'm a little less busy, and I can try and keep my uploads a little more constant, hopefully once a week or so. So thanks again for everybody that made requests for me to do this video, and I hope it helped you. And like I said, if you have any more requests, just give me a heads up and I'll be sure to make a video on it. Thanks again, guys. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and please give the channel a like and a subscribe. If my videos interest you, please click on my channel and check out my other videos.